This is the Dr. Jojo of Doombringer, the unofficial doctor for the Escape Pod cast, with an important message. We have received disturbing reports of listeners trying the bantho dewormer watomectin to get 2 times 0 to not equal 0, and we want to say this is not performing as intended, and case studies have shown differing results when combined with free-to-play tiers. It has been associated with spaghetti code and repeating the same battle 14 times. This will be nerfed in the next update, which is coming soon, TM. As always, this is subject to change. This show was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. Take it away, boys.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. With both having played this game since launch, the one thing we are sure of is that you will be entertained. The Escape Pod Cast, a service of the Escape Pod Castaways. A weekly podcast about the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast.
More marquees are on the way to the game.
This week, it all started with us getting Finnick Shand.
We will review her kit lightly.
And go over the nuances of the developer insight.
Then, in Storytime with Uncle Thad, he will break it down even more.
We will talk about our experiences with the latest rounds of Territory Wars.
Too many battles and not enough time.
I, on the other hand, have to comment on one of the opponents my guild faced.
We have 2 interviews today. In the first one, we talk to the myth, the legend, GS, as they closed in on affiliates on Twitch.
His journey has been an interesting one, and we look forward to sharing that with you as well.
Then, in our official incoming transmission, we finally get the one and only CG Doja Fett.
We will talk about the speed GAC experience that we're all about to witness.
And break down a few hot button issues that folks have been clamoring about with him and SB Crumb.
Patreon's choice and more on the bridge, where we'll try to make up for last week's long but necessary interview. That's if the Doja Fett and Crumb interview doesn't go too long.
All this and breaking news as and if it happens.
Right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
Go ahead, Neil. Kick us off.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Escape Pod Cast. I'm your host, the Nev, and as always, I'm joined by my hetero life partner, Paul. Paul, how are you?
It has been a very, very fun week for me. I'm very, very excited for this show today as well. It's even though my chances at Kyber are slim, there's a chance. There's always a chance. We have a hype train, as you can hear, going on right now. We have to thank Dr. Feelgood for subscribing for 19 months, Salacious Dumb for subscribing for 2 months, JJ Manor for 16 months, and then JJ Manners has given out subs to Ricky P, Utini, and Wolfman. So let's see how far we can get this hype train going. Today is a huge show. We have a very special announcement coming up in the incoming transmission. You may have already heard it, but we're going to confirm it with Doja Fett and SB Crumb joining us later on in the show. But before that, we will be talking to the myth, the legend. He's from Doombringer. Doombringer is a very, very friendly guild to the Escape Podcast, so thank you to all the Doombringer people out there. And you know, I'm also enjoying Lego Star Wars Battles. Thank you, Cascade, for giving gifting a sub to Ringer as well. So, what about you, Neil? How has your week been?
Yeah, it's all right. It's not too bad. Had a very fun round 1 GAC, which I took by 1 banner. Gotta love those single banner wins. So yeah, my opponent got cute on a weak first order team and dropped 1 battle, but the rest of my defense had done sufficient enough banner stripping that he had a 24-41 score. So I knew it was very winnable, but then I had my CLS team just
that was that one?
destroyed.
Oh,
I had my CLS team just got destroyed by GG, and I'm like, no need to panic. There's no need to panic. I can afford it. I could comfortably. I knew I was comfortable affording 2 double taps. So I kind of held off. I'm like, right, okay, let's go get the Padme one out of the way. And then, so I ended up losing out on the Padme. So there was my double tap. Now, cleaning up Padme was easy because I'd already taken her out. So that there was my second double tap. And I'm thinking, right, all I have to do, double tap GG, everything will be fine. And the double tap didn't come. I ended up having to triple tap GG, which was really frustrating. But because I averaged above 60 on every single other one of my battles, and the fleets were both single taps, I needed an average of 60 on the back wall. So one of them was a Wampa solo. So I hit a 63 with the Wampa solo. I took my Imperial troopers in against the Bad Batch because I knew that was a guaranteed 60, because I knew that they wouldn't take a turn, because they didn't. And then I'm like, right, I only need 57, but I knew I only needed 57 banners to win. So I took my JTR in against Imperial troopers and scored exactly 57. I knew that my JTR and my R2D2 weren't going to get scratched because they're both Relic 7. And this was a Gear 11/Gear 10/Gear 9 Imperial troopers. So I knew that they were only going to get 1 AoE off, and it was going to strip banners from the 3 Gear 11s on my team. But yeah, so I played for 57, I got 57, and that was it. So 1 by 1 banner. So and that put me in a match against, hopefully, someone who I'll get some revenge against. Top 50, 960k lifetime. AOC Star Wars.
Oh, is
really?
this AOC fan since is that Twitch chatter?
I don't know. No. I do not know. All I know is it's AOC Star Wars. I fought them before. They cost me one of my only victories in the last 12 months. So kind of hoping for revenge. They put the exact team down that I expected them to. So my defense and my offense is looking good, but they are a very, very good efficiency. They average 2,480.
Gotcha.
They average in the 2. So I need to be. I'm only going to win if it's perfect. I'm only going to win if it's a perfect run. So fingers crossed for that. But apart from that, there was territory wars, but it's just, the problems persist with territory wars. And, I'm in a guild that's like trying for it, but it's, So apart from that, it's been a relatively nondescript week, to be honest.
Well, speaking of nondescript weeks, other than Fennec Shand, it kind of has been a nondescript week here in the world of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We did get an update because Shock T got a little bit of a buff. They're providing all players who got to Phase 3 500 Get To coin and 5 watt shards. I think that's about fair to the people that, the only difference I saw was in that special mission in the first slice of territory battles. Other than that, we did the exact same. So 500 Get To and 5 watt shards for the people that might not have, gotten watt as far as they did. Sure. I mean, it's, I'm absolutely fine with that. Some people call it cheap, but you know what? It's stuff you didn't have before, right?
Yeah, but if people had been able to do it, they would have had more.
No, 500 Get To. No, you get. I don't remember the exact number, but 500 get to is more than the missing amount of get to that we got. You know, we had enough people complete it that divisible, or if you subtract 500 from the max, you actually come out with a deficit. So
I just thought that you got more than 500 from the special mission.
Yeah, I'd have to double check on it. Maybe somebody in chat can tell me what you get for a passing it. But I think that was more than fair. But then we did get the content update to where we were told that Commander Ahsoka Tano is going to be added to light side battle hard nodes on the 23rd. But only light side and only hard nodes. Thoughts on that, Neil?
I'm not sure if I'm farming anything from light side hard nodes at the moment. I'm running out of things to farm at the moment. But I might have a couple in there. There might be a couple in there. I've got a couple of ships I'm farming. Don't know if they're light side nodes. And then I'm doing, let's see, what am I doing? Dark Trooper and Bow. Armor is done. And I've fallen back on some of the older characters. Oh, no, I am doing Echo. Was Echo on one?
I think so.
I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that.
I do think that there are two of the Bad Batch on light side hard nodes. In fact, if I'm going into the game right now to take a look, light side hard node, I think it was 5. Tech is there, and Hunter is there. So they're there on 5. On
so people farming
7. 7 has Echo and Wrecker, and then Omega's on ships, which I'm farming.
Yeah. So I mean, so people farming Bad Batch, which is kind of what you would be farming at the moment, because obviously they're the most recent characters. So if you're free to play and you are kind of like aiming towards Lord Vader, you've got to farm the Bad Batch. So yeah. So if your daily farming is farming for all the Bad Batch, then yeah, you're going to pick up some Ahsoka Tano shards. I'll have a look. I'm really not that fussed. I don't care when I get her now. I used to, but now I don't care.
So thank you to everybody. We did complete a level 3 hype train. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting the show through
Thank you very much.
Subs, bits, and also our Patreon. You help make this show possible. So speaking of added things, right now the Malevolence from now until the 14th is on everything light side. Additive drops on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I cashed in some in the shard shop. I never thought I'd see that. Open up the shard shop and I'm converting Malevolence shards into currency. I never imagined seeing that. Because obviously I already have a 7-star Malevolence, so every Malevolence shard that I get just gets converted to shard currency. So yeah, it was weird. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? And you mentioning it now just reminds me, yep, that's what happened. That's where they came from.
So there's a bunch of little fixes here and there. Fixed an issue with enemy Shock T being unintentionally stronger in territory battle after a previous update. She was reverted back to the original state she was before the previous update. And please note, as an enemy in territory battle, she is still considered a tank, which remains unchanged from the original launch of Geonosis territory battle. That, to me, is the only big thing out of the fixes. But we're now seeing that there are some people saying that the light side territory battle has been a little bit buffed as well.
Yeah. Were there any changes? Were there any changes to ships by any chance? Because ever since the update, I've been having a lot of trouble All right, let's be honest. I have not won a single battle using my Malevolence TIE Fighter pilot counter against 5 or 6 star Malevolence since the update. I've had 6 battles in the last 2 days, and I've lost all 6. And before the update, my success rate against 5 and 6 stars was around about 75%. It was only 50-50 against 7 stars because there was a lot of RNG involved against against maximum executives. But I expected that. But yeah, no, I've had a pretty damn successful amount of victories, and I have since the update. I've not won anything. So is there anything in there about the executor or
nothing?
Anything? Because it just seems like the executive's ultimate is going off a hell of a lot faster for 5 and 6 stars than it was before.
Yeah, it's there's no difference. According to this, there's no difference in anything with fleets. So maybe it was a stealth buff.
Yeah. It might have been a stealth. Yeah, because it's frustrating. Because TIE Fighter pilot's getting at least a couple of dodges. And I'm losing all my vulture droids. So, there's 30%. But like just as the turn meter is getting up to give me my ultimate, their ultimate goes off, and I'm like, the ship should be 1 full turn behind me, but it isn't. It's almost like it's got 1 full turn in front of all the cooldowns of this. So yeah, that is, I must admit, that is frustrating, and it really wouldn't surprise me for it to get a stealth buff. Because of the amount of money that people spent on the executor, and the TIE Fighter pilot Malevolence is a very cheap counter. Granted, it's only it doesn't work all the time, but it still works. And now all of a sudden, it's just not working.
Yeah, Dr. Feelgood says it's performance issues, and it's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's not performance issues. It is not performance issues. I should be reaching my ultimate before the executor. It's as simple as that. I was reaching my ultimate without losing all my vulture droids. Seriously, without losing all my vulture droids and getting dodges with the TIE Fighter pilot. The last time I did it, I lost every single one of my vulture droids and got a couple of dodges. That should have had my ultimate going off first, but for some reason, no. So it's either a stealth buff to the executor, or it's a stealth debuff to the amount of turn meter going to Malevolence for vulture droids being destroyed. Because it just doesn't look like I'm getting, every time I'm expecting like that turn meter bar to kick up by like a third. There's definitely something there.
So in addition to all this, we were also got the release of a new dark side hero, Finnick Fox. What?
I wouldn't say hero. Well, dark side, and then the word hero following dark side villain. A light side would be a hero, a dark side would be a villain.
Well, no. There are people on the dark side that were heroes.
Well, no, then if they were good, then they'd
It's not good or bad. Dark side and light side does not equal good or bad. Only Sith deal in absolute, Neil.
No, dark side are bad. They're evil.
All right. So, story time with Uncle Thad will go a little bit more into the kit. But she has to gloss over it really quick, a basic that damages people 5 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is impressive.
A special that gives a new debuff, minus 20% defense, but 50% offense up, 10% up on speed, and 15% evasion buff. So they're squishier, but they're faster, hit harder, and dodge more. Mm-hmm. Her leader ability, at the start of battle, Finnick Fox gains plus 100% max health, max protection, and defense and offense. For each other ally present at the start of battle, the numbers are reduced by 25%. So she, as in the developer insight, this is purely an undersize leader. And once 20 debuffs are dispelled or expire from bounty hunter or scoundrel allies, it says that scoundrel allies can contribute to this contract. All allies gain 20% defense and overconfident until the end of the battle, which can't be dispelled, copied, or prevented. And her payout receives plus 15% critical chance, plus 25% critical damage, and she gains Seasoned Veteran till the end of battle. Seasoned Veteran allows her to ignore taunt, gains additional effects on her abilities. She gains offense up on her basic. When she has Seasoned Veteran on the special, the attack can't be evaded and inflicts armor, an additional stack, 2 stacks of armor shred. And you've said that she
Armor
can
shred,
take out a very high-powered team with only one friend. You want to talk about that?
Arnold posted a video about Dengar and Fennec Shand wrecking gas teams. So I'd be very, very interested to see just exactly what that does, because more gas counters can't hurt, and a bounty hunters team that can counter gas, I could definitely see that being useful. But it's the quintuple hits at the start. You know, if she's strong enough and she's powerful enough, she's just going to put him on his knees and strip through that protection immediately. So should be interesting.
Yeah. So would you be modding her for speed and offense like practically everybody else?
Well, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how fast she is before you start applying mods. I'd be curious to see how fast she is.
We'll take a deeper dive possibly later on if she comes out to be one of the big must-haves. So Helenix's question earlier in the chat, is she worth it? Right now, reports are saying probably. So,
yeah, well, I mean, Van Seal, who likes his bounty hunters, isn't doing because he can't see, because he's got all the bounty hunters maxed out. He can't see where she would do something that his current crop of bounty hunters don't already do. And there's not any one individual bounty hunter that he would sacrifice in order to put her in. And let's not forget, Van Seal uses his bounty hunters to just, absolutely destroy.
Durgan says Van Seal already 7 in Relictor.
He said yesterday he wasn't going to do that. He said it yesterday. I'm not going to do it. So obviously he changed his mind.
So
I'd be curious to know what changed his mind. Maybe the fact that with Dengar, it can wreck a gas, maybe. I don't know. So that might have something to do with it.
Her inspiration says this version of the character encompasses both her time on Bad Batch and Mandalorian. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen either of those shows. But you're playing a Star Wars game. Why haven't you seen those shows? This is why she starts off with Overconfident and ends up with Seasoned Veteran. Her basic is inspired by the hand-to-hand combat she gets into during Bad Batch. And I Don't Miss is taken from her Mandalorian appearances where she's a master markswoman with her sniper rifle.
Here's the thing, and this is the kicker as far as I'm concerned. She's in the game. So obviously one of the things that we've been asking for is the punishing one. Now she's in the game. They put her ship in as well. And oh God, the executive's just going to be a nightmare. Fleet Arena is just going to be a nightmare. Can you imagine what Fleet Arena would be like with another 2 bounty hunter ships in it? that the executor with another 2 bounty hunters, it'd be a nightmare. An absolute nightmare.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah, that's just you because you've already got it.
Also, I loved my bounty hunters and
don't.
love ships, love bounty hunters, and they just melded together, and I was able to get it. So,
yeah, but it's not good on it's not making GAC. It's not making ships on GAC an awful lot.
So one thing we
not that I've faced it, but
one thing we do have to talk about really quick before we take our first break: Territory Wars. First week with it. What were your thoughts, Neil?
Not enough time. Too many battles. Not enough time. That's the biggest thing I can think of. Obviously, I mean, the matchmaking is obvious. The matchmaking is obviously a big issue, and people are saying that matchmaking isn't a big issue. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have matchmaking problems in GAC. That is one person versus one person. So really bad matchmaking only affects a limited number of people. But when it's a guild versus a guild, if you've got dozens and dozens, if not hundreds and hundreds of guilds that are affected by the mismatch of the matchmaking, it's not one person being involved. It's 50 people in a guild that are getting the short end of the stick. So if you're in a guild and you've done 2 territory wars, and on both occasions you've been screwed over on the matchmaking, that's 100 people that have been screwed over twice by poor matchmaking. So it's not an exception to the rule. Yes, you've got to think of it in terms of it's 50 versus 50. It's not one person versus one person like in GAC. It's 50 people versus 50 people. And, one side is getting screwed over quite a lot. And that's lots and lots and lots of groups of 50 people. So, matchmaking and not enough time are the two things.
And so on our side, in order to get to that 320 million bracket, we need every single person on our guild to join. So it no longer takes the whole territory wars is optional if you want a guaranteed one piece of Relic 9 material. So it steals away the player agency, and if people sign up but don't place, they're freeloading. If they, it really, really bothers me that happened. But I do also have to acknowledge that the Escape Pod Yavin 4 got matched up against Rebel Force Yavin 4 in the second match and fought a very, very awesome territory war. We were outclassed the first one by more GLs, but we were able to walk away victorious. The second one, the Escape Pod Yavin 4 did lose, so therefore Rebel Force Yavin 4 is the Yavin 4 Cup winner. I even made a picture of Coruscant Underworld Police holding a Yavin 4 cup. By the way, and also another one comes in. Solo Base, thank you very much for the resubscribe for 15 months. Geek Girl with 555 bits. Thank you very much. As far as other things go in Territory Wars, I felt that it was evenly matched, but I saw so many other examples that I think you're going to get that everywhere. It just really sucks when there's a 50... It seemed like a 50 GP difference, but it all depended, 50 million GP difference, and it all depended on how many people joined. So,
yeah, there were lots. Here's the thing regarding territory wars, there are lots of issues. It's not just it's not just one or two. There's lots. There are discrepancies on the number of squads required per territory, changing massively based purely on 2 or 3 extra people joining. There were, Reddit was resplendent with examples of people saying, when we joined in week 1, we had 46 people join. And when we fought, we only had to put like 20 something teams per territory. And then the next territory war, we had 2 more people join. So we added an extra 7 million GP. And then all of a sudden we had to find an extra 6 squads per territory on defense, and for the sake of 2 extra people joining. So that was a problem. The matchmaking was a problem. One of the things that bugged me the most was if you had a division discrepancy, so a higher division playing a lower division, if the higher division won, they picked up the rewards for their division, and the lower team picked up the losing rewards for their division. That one just seems, I'm sure it's fair and competitive, but it just doesn't, in the big scheme of things, it's neither fair nor competitive for a guild with 60 million GP more to be rewarded with their divisions higher against a team that they are clearly going to, ruffle stomp into the ground. And then that team, looking at who they're facing, what they've got, it's like, well, that's it. Just accept defeat and take crappy rewards, because they know that there's nothing there. There's nothing for them to compete for. They know that they're going to lose. So,
Excellent point, and we'll be back after these messages. HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or territory wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod. Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards, including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message, and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways want you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/The Escape Podcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Hello and welcome into the Patreon Leaderboard, brought to you by the Patreons of the Escape Podcast. This week we look back at week 3 of the 5v5 season at the Patreons at the Kyber Combat level or higher, and encourage you to sign up soon for the next season, which was going to be 3v3. As that quickly approaches, sign up deadline for next month's Patreon Leaderboard is October 19th. So head on over to patreon.com/theescapepod to sign up for inclusion next month. Let's go ahead and take a look at the boards. D forgot to join. Dark Helmet 3-0. He filed a report this week. One shot, full clear in the first. His executor held 2 battles. He won by 30 banners. Round 2, full clear, one shot, everything except for an odd interaction where my solo Count Dooku died against a Gear 8 Jawa team that never took a turn. Thermal detonators, my friend. And they got stuck on his Glowcat and Executor. Number 3, one shot, full clear, including a 7-star Executor. They dropped a few battles and could not clear his 5-star Executor. Nice job. 79-73 for Dark Helmet. 36 wins, 1 loss, 13 holds. Looking at Dr. JoJo, he also filed a report saying 3-0 by the skin of my teeth. Round 1 and round 2 were easy. I full cleared. They didn't. Round 3. Wanted to talk this out. On his scouting placed 4 GL, DR, and gas on the front wall. So he went for it. So he planned for it. With 4 GLs of his own, Imperials for Darth Revan and CLS for gas. Then he screwed up his Imperials versus Darth Revan due to a misplay. Then he went to see if the JTR bros could beat them. They couldn't. So he had to take one of his saved Galactic Legends, and it looked like he couldn't full clear. But he decides if he can beat Slacker with JKR and JKL, maybe he had a chance. So he got a 57 versus Slacker, first time doing it post-nerf. So he takes his GML Remnant versus Darth Revan and loses. So now he's on to battle 5, and he has to Slacker solo. So this one Darth Revan team has cost him 2 GLs and 3 very good teams. So now he's in efficiency mode. Clears the back zone, leaves the front zone. His opponent attacks. 2 shots of Darth Revan, 3 shots of Grievous, 1 shot for his Rey for 48 using his Sith Internal Emperor. He cleared his back wall and takes down 2 teams in the front and loses a battle versus crew. But his opponent is leading by 18 banners at this point. He takes his Commander Luke Skywalker in versus Garbage Padme for a guaranteed 60, leaving him to clear his gas for a win, and spoiler alert, he couldn't. So he won by 15, having cleared 1 less team than his opponent. 72-16 in banners, 32 wins, 8 losses, 17 holds. Force Strong goes 2-1 with 4,012 banners, 13 wins, 0 losses, 3 holds. Force Strong, explain yourself, sir. Hot Sauce goes 1-2. The Behemoth goes 6,800 banners on the dot, 26 wins, 5 losses, 3 holds. I also went 1-2, 72-34. 33 wins, 3 losses, 5 holds. I ended up running into a Executor. No, it was a Galactic Legend front wall that I could not get past. Taking a look at the boards, Dr. JoJo still at the top and clings to a 51 banner lead if he were to drop one of his matches this last week. Dark Helmet 8-1, 22-9-36. Hot Sauce and I both at 6-3. Force Strong at 4-5, and D sits at 2-7. What's going to happen coming up this last week? Is Dr. JoJo not going to be able to get enough? He did not do so well in round 1. We're going to see if that costs him, if Dark Helmet can run the board and he drops a battle down the line. It's going to be fun. Do not miss next week's Patreon Leaderboard. That does it for me. Sign up at patreon.com/theescapepod. Join us next month. I would love to see and report on each and every single one of you. Yeah, even you. Be nice to each other, damn it.
We want you. Join the GAC Chain Gang today. This is the commander of the 506 Procrastination Battalion and the leader of the GAC Chain Gang. I am sending out a call to action for any SWGOH content creators on Twitch who would be willing to broadcast their GAC attack rounds alongside some of our best, including Mr. Jigabachi, Dr. Zeppers, Rico 1982, and the Bounty Honeys. What is the Chain Gang, you ask? We are an amazing group of content creators who are dedicated on streaming the Grand Arena Championship attack rounds on Twitch. The idea is to provide continuous content back-to-back from one streamer to the next and allow the viewers to enjoy more SWGOH content, as well as enjoy the variety of streamers that are currently present in the group. If you are interested in joining the Chain Gang, please reach out to myself on Discord at AndyBeads, #7465, or you can send us a message on our Twitter page at ChainGAC. Join us today. We have your back.
The Escape Pod cast.
And welcome back into the show, Neil.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to throw to you, but then I do the Master of Ceremony stuff.
I was ready to do it, and then I'm ready to do it. I'm sat. I'm here. I'm ready to bring us back, and then you just bring us in. So it's like, what do you want me to do? Say the same thing again twice? Either point and let me do it, or do it
I'll point
yourself.
for the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is a GAC Chain Gang streamer. You guys can check him out on the Chain Gang. Follow Andy Beads, Mud Bum, Dr. Zeppers, Army Hutchings. Lots and lots of wonderful, wonderful streamers in the Chain Gang. But he is also a former coach at Delaware State University, and also a very, very fun watch. This guy's amazing. He also says he's a hypnotist. I think that's how he ended up on the show. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, GS. Myth, how are you?
I am doing great, guys. Thank you once again for having me. I really do appreciate you bringing me on here.
Not a problem. One of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is that you are on your final push for Twitch affiliate. You are how many away as of the beginning of this episode?
At the beginning of the podcast, I was 3 away from affiliate.
There we go. So 3 of you watching, go follow this guy. He is an absolute gem of a watch, you know, just like SE and we or Sean Dewey. One of my favorites to just lurk in and enjoy the show. So let's ask the question we ask everybody. How big is your account? How long have you been playing? And what type of aquatic creature are you, if any? And then Neil will want to know if you have any alts.
So I began pretty much near launch, maybe like a month or 2 in. I'm about to hit 8 million GP, and you can safely call me a whale.
Yeah, 8 mil GP, yeah, you're definitely a whale.
Yeah. I would not say cracking territory. I am not in 5 digits, so that's kind of where I put that line.
Do you have any alts, by the way?
I do. So my main account is the legend. My alt is the myth. That's
so just the one alt.
Technically, I have access to another account of a friend of mine who gave up the game shortly after I helped him remod the account. And so I asked him if I could take it over very briefly. He said, sure, why not? I spent 200 crystals. I renamed it the man. That way I could have the Holy Trinity.
Well, I will tell you
Okay.
this. You are now the man, the myth, the legend, and the affiliate. You are now at 51 followers, so your next stream you will qualify.
Everyone, thank you. Everyone who just ended up following there. I really do appreciate it, guys.
But let's not stop there. Go ahead, Neil.
No, I was going to say, I mean, I'll ask the alt questions, even though my love affair with alts is, well and truly gone now. So what's the GP of your alts?
So the man account, I really don't play it at all. I'll only ever bring it into a guild that if they need someone quickly for a territory war, I can just throw it in, place defenses. I think it's around 6.2, 6.3.
Mm-hmm.
And the myth, my true alt, is at 5.7.
That's not that far from mine, actually. Mine's 5.8. So I was just curious because it's possible that we could face each other in GAC. So,
yeah, we definitely could.
I always like to know if someone's got an alt that has GP close to mine. Like Zareth. Zareth's alt is close on par with the GP for your. It's my main, but obviously your alt. Obviously, I don't know if you play your alt that as seriously as Zareth.
I don't play it nearly as seriously. What I did initially for my alt is any characters that I wish I had gone for on my main, I was like, ooh, I'm going to do this with my alt, see how this works out.
Mm-hmm.
But truth be told, once Galactic Legends came into the game, that's when I really stopped playing my alt as seriously, because with those grinds, you didn't really have a choice. You had to focus on those characters to get them out, get them ready. So my alt account has really fallen off.
So that was free to play then, was it?
Yes,
it's
the alts are completely free to play.
Yeah,
yes.
So you just whale on your main then.
Yes.
That's okay. No, because I know people that do whale on alts, or they'll dolphin on alts, purely because they know that they can spend considerably less in money and crystals and resources on very, very specific areas of their alt accounts, whereas before, when they were on their main, they probably spent a little bit more building up various different factions and characters. But once you kind of got to know how things go, you can be like, well, I could probably do the exact same thing, but at 50 or 40 or even 30% the price that you originally stumped up for, because you're just more efficient in, how you build up an account. That's all.
Yeah.
So do you GAC on all of them?
No. I only do GAC on my main heavily. I will still join GAC on my alt on the myth, and I'll play it when I get the time. But more often than not, I actually do miss the attack phase on the alt. I always make sure to get it on the main at least.
Mm-hmm. I've not joined GAC on my alts for 2 solid weeks now.
Yeah,
it
happens.
That's how little I care about my alt. You see, I used to do them religiously over and over all the time, because I would keep my fingers crossed that maybe I would get matched up against someone I knew. But in 2 years of GAC across 4 accounts, I have never been matched against someone I know, and it just annoys the crap out of me. So I've stopped trying and caring on my alts, so I'll just keep my fingers crossed that I finally get matched against someone on my main. But it would be fun. It would be. So how come you don't stream your alts? Because it would give you a lot more content.
I know it would give me a bit more content, but the truth is I just have a lot more fun with my main. on my alt, just where it stands right now, I have Sith Eternal Emperor, and I have basically all the requirements for SLKR. But because all of my top GP is so high with very little to show for it, not really able to clear anything. It's not as entertaining. And the truth is, this is a game and it's supposed to be fun. When you're having fun, you can express that fun with others. But if it's, oh, cool, I can beat 4 teams and that's it, that's not nearly as fun. It's hard to be as entertaining.
Yeah.
With that. So I just like
how
to
long
stick
does
to my
it?
main.
How long does it take you to do? Because obviously your main is Div 1. How long does it take you to do GAC on your main?
I usually stretch it out to about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
If I wanted to speed run it, obviously I could get it done faster, you know, pre-scouting it more. That way I know exactly what team to use where. But I just like to interact. I like to have a little bit fun with the teams I'm using as well. And I know Army actually mentioned this in the chat earlier, but one of the things I have to do every single stream is I will always save Jedi Master Luke for offense because I have Hermit Yoda kill everyone under Jedi Master Luke lead. At this point, I've had Hermit Yoda kill all 6 Galactic Legends, and truth be told, there's nothing more satisfying than just seeing a little wave and then seeing a GL disappear.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. It's brilliant. It's so much. I do it in Squad Arena all the time.
Yeah,
it's the only reason. It is the only reason why I do so well in Squad Arena. And someone's like, yeah, when you swap with Hermit Yoda, I'm like, why? What if I don't need the healing? It's like, doesn't matter. Just do it anyway and watch. So I did it, and I'm like, oh my god! It's like, hang on a minute, gas just died. All right, how did that happen? And then, oh my god, JKL just died. What's going on? And then, so yeah, it's bonkers that Hermit Yoda in a JML team taking a turn can kill someone. It's bonkers.
I remember the first time I did it, it was actually up against a Grievous team. I had just taken Master Luke and Hermit Yoda, and I was just going to do a 2v5. And I'm like, wait a second, did Yoda just get the kill? And yeah, it was. Since then, I've made it my mission to kill every new important character in the game with Hermit Yoda. And so far, that mission has been pretty successful. So I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I also love that same style when using when you're playing in Conquest and you get massively overpowered and you just get C-3PO to go and all of a sudden everybody's heads explode. Yep. That's the best.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And a way to make a dark side territory battles a little bit more fun. Any missions with Wat Tambor, they don't count them as kills for separatist loyalty, but activating all the dots and getting kills with Wat Tambor. It's just another fun way to make some game modes that can get a little tiring, just a little bit more
never
fun.
Tires with me though.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned that I enjoy watching your streams and lurking, but for those who are listening to this podcast and they're wondering what can I expect, why don't you pimp yourself? Tell people what they can expect when they come to your stream. What makes you unique?
Well, I definitely spoiled one of them already, which is guaranteed Hermit Yoda kills every territory battle. And I should also preface a warning. If you hate terrible puns, terrible jokes, do not listen in on my stream. My partner has constantly said she's going to eventually need plastic surgery from the amount of time she's had to facepalm from them. So I love to extend that out to everyone. So just as a fair warning, really bad
plenty
jokes.
Of dad jokes.
Yes, plenty of them. And then, truth be told, it's, yes, winning is nice, but it's also fun to see if we can find weird teams that shouldn't work against other teams and making them work. So
there you go, Neil.
Like we said in the beginning, it's a game.
He theory crafts live on stream. What type of player would you consider yourself? We're getting close to wrapping up, but I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to get to know you here. What are they expecting? And then once you finish that, tell people how to find you.
Yes. So, for me, it's, I've been playing this game nearly, since launch, and I really enjoy almost all the aspects of the game. So yeah, I try to think ahead. I really like strategizing things. Back when I was an officer, I always loved the territory battles because I love to think strategically, and just all those strategies and mods. I would almost put myself as like a Grand Admiral Thrawn thinking type player. I love to see if I can make you think I'm doing this one strategy, so you'll do the move I want you to do, so you can't expect what's coming next.
All right, and how do people find you?
Well, you can find me here on Twitch at The Myth, The Legend GS. And on my channel, you'll also see links to both my Discord server as well as my YouTube page. So those are going to be the best places to find me.
And that's The Myth, all one word, _ The Legend,
yes.
all one
the
word,
Legend.
_ GS.
Yes.
So, any final questions for our guest today, Neil?
No, we'll let him get off.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. Go stream. You're going to be an affiliate after
Absolutely.
that stream. And you know what? If you wanted to fire it up later tonight, we'll raid into you right at the end of the show tonight.
I would appreciate that greatly. Thank you again to the entire podcast.
No
crew.
problem.
I really appreciate it.
Guys, stick around. Coming up after this break, we finally got him. We finally get to talk to him. I've been trying since the beginning of his announcement. CG Doja Fett joins the show featuring SB Crumb in just a moment right here on the Escape Pod cast. HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or territory wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena Tracking Bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
The Escape Pod, cast for kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, Padawans, and welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Thad and the Escape Podcast for kids. Today we are going to be looking at a new character, and one that I am very excited about, Finnick Shand. One of the great things about this character is that we don't know a great deal about who she is. So, what will be unique about today's Storytime is that we will be taking information from her kit canonically and inferring what we know about her through this marquee event.
Tales from the Outer Rim.
So, with that, let's jump into who Finnick Shand is in the Star Wars canon. Finnick Shand was a notorious bounty hunter and assassin operating from the fall of the Republic and continuing through the events of The Mandalorian. Originally introduced in the first season of The Mandalorian, not a whole lot has been written about Finnick and her life. Canonically and chronologically, her first appearance in Star Wars was during the early days of the Empire. Presumably hired by Kaminoa scientist Nala Se, Finnick was originally tasked to track down and return Omega back to Kamino. It is here that we see the legendary bounty hunter and assassin take on the entire Bad Batch, not to mention face down Cad Bane, which is a huge feat in and of itself. I mean, she wasn't successful in her efforts to abscond with Omega, but she put up one heck of a fight. We don't know what happened to Finnick between then and when we see her again in Season 1 of The Mandalorian. We do know that she worked for many of the top crime syndicates, as it is mentioned in Season 1, that her employers were all locked up with the takeover of the New Republic. The real question about Finnick's past is, what was she doing during the meantime? And I believe that
Tales from the Outer Rim, Marquee Event 7,
has given us our first look at Finnick Shand's past. Because we know that she worked with many of the Underworld's darkest and dankest villains, we can assume that she went on some pretty nasty jobs. Tier 1 of her marquee has her facing off against the Ewoks. Now, I don't know if she has something personally against the Murder Bears, but being an assassin means that you have to take jobs that you don't necessarily agree with. Finnick probably took the Endor job just because some Moth or Imperial wanted vengeance after losing the second Death Star. And while I want to lean towards that, what we see later on in another tier actually makes me think that she just doesn't like small creatures. Tier 2 has Finnick facing off against the Imperials. Now again, this doesn't come as a shock because we know that she was not loved by the Imperials. This is one of the facts that we do know about her from Season 2 of Mandalorian. Next, we see her facing off against the Rebels, which doesn't come as a shock again. This is not surprising. Any bounty hunter that would be operating during the time of the Empire or during the time of the Rebellion would have bounties on key Rebel characters. And so seeing her face off against this crew, makes complete sense. Now, I believe that Tier 4 of this event actually shows us a scene that was left off of the cutting room floor, or left on the cutting room floor, from her episode of Season 1. Finnick and Cara Weathers take on an entire tribe of Jawas. Now, we know that Finnick worked in the Outer Rim. We know that she worked with people. It is here that I fully believe, for whatever reason, Cara Weathers sent Finnick to kill a bunch of Jawas. I don't know why. I don't know what that story looks like, but it's very possible. Now, it's also possible that Finnick didn't like the Jawas, and this was just her taking the vengeance. I don't know, but it's this scene that makes me think that murdering the Murder Bears was less of a job and more of some kind of personal vendetta against adorable little slaughter machine. Now, the last tier has Finnick facing off against the Separatist, which I'm not sure what multiverse this took place in, but I'm pretty confident that it wasn't Dave Filoni's. But with that, let's take a look at her kit. Her basic ability is freaking awesome. She attacks an enemy, and if that enemy doesn't have protection, she deals more damage. Now, I like Finnick. I've said this before. I've said this throughout. And even for CG, I feel like this ability is kind of on the nose. I mean, all damage does more damage if there's no protection. Stubbing your toe hurts way more if you're not wearing shoes. But for Finnick, it's like her stubbing someone else's toe 5 times in a row. Her first and only special ability is a really cool one, but I also feel it's a little misleading. I don't miss deal special damage to all but the weakest enemy, then deal special damage to the enemy that was the weakest at the start of the attack. Now, essentially what she's doing is she aims at one person, hits a bunch of other people, and then once they're down, comes back and shoots the last person standing. I don't feel like that's as much of a, hey, I'm a great assassin, and more of a, I've killed everyone else on accident, and now I'm going to kill you. Now, her leadership ability actually takes its name from the animal known as the Finnick Fox. According to National Geographic, the Finnick Fox is the smallest of the world's foxes, but it also has the world's largest ears. And it should be noted that this adorable fox, while little, is also the craziest and does not a good house pet make, which I also assume probably goes without saying for Finnick Shand as well. Her first unique ability, Making an Impression, grants her 10% offense and stacking every time she gains tenacity up. Now, this is clearly an homage to her core of steel, which, I mean, if you saw season 1 and 2, you know that that's not a euphemism or some flowery metaphorical language, but she actually has a core of steel. Like, her abs are made of metal. And her final ability, her final unique ability, is her payout, which again just makes her more dangerous and more deadly until the end of the battle. It just kind of makes sense, right? The longer she's alive, the more dead her opponent becomes. Now, we will be learning a lot more about this character, this bounty hunter, this assassin, in the upcoming book of Boba Fett. You can stay tuned in the coming weeks for story time with Uncle Thad as I talk about the new dad bod Boba and what he looks like in Star Wars canon when he comes to the game, because let's face it, he's clearly coming to the game. Well, that's it for me this week. Stay tuned next week for more story time with Uncle Thad on the Escape Pod Cast for Kids. Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways want you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Pod Cast.
Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. This week's incoming transmissions are doozy. Paul, introduce our guests.
Well, I'm introducing one guest because Crumb's here just to make sure that we don't ask some of the really, really bad questions, because we'll get in trouble. No, but ladies and gentlemen, this interview I have been pushing for a while. When he was first announced, I wanted to just bring him on to get to know him. Finally, we get to do just that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the community liaison, Mr. Doja Fett. How are you, Doge?
Hey, I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on. And you're right, we've been trying to, make this happen for a while. So it's good to be here. And, they have good reason to not let me out of the cage too long. So.
Well, from what you told me, your background, and this is kind of one of the questions in a way, your background you have been a public speaker, though. You know, we want to get to know who Doja Fett is. With what you want to reveal. You know, what made you the right fit for this position?
Nobody else wanted it, so there you go. No, yeah, you're right. You know, I've dabbled in some public speaking in various formats, so you know, it's something that I enjoy doing. I think because it's so terrifying, right? So you know, I don't know, like who's brazen enough to be like, yeah, this is I want to do this in front. It's like literally, if you take a poll, the poll usually turns out that most people's biggest fear is public speaking, right? And then their second one is death. And so I'm like, okay, it can't be that bad. And so no, I guess what makes me the right fit is that yeah, I feel like I've lived 4 lifetimes, to be honest. Like I've done a lot of different weird jobs, and I like interacting with people. I like advocating for people. You know, like part of my background does include being a criminal defense attorney, which, you know, when I was in law school, I never thought that's what I would do. I wanted to be like more of an ambulance chase or something, right?
The Texas Hammer.
That's where the money is.
Yeah,
that's
right.
where the money is.
Exactly. So I'm like, have you been injured in an automobile accident? But no, and then once I fell into that, I was like, oh, advocating for people is cool. And that's kind of like where my you know, interest in doing more public facing stuff and advocating for people stems from. And then you know, long winding road led to a friend of a friend at CG saying, hey, why don't you come be part of our game balance specialist?
Yeah, can you tell us about your previous life with CG?
Yeah, for sure. So look, the games industry, as Crumb can probably attest to, is kind of hard to break into, you know. So some of it is, you know, just a whole big mix, right? Like you sprinkle everything into a pot, like some skill, some luck, some who you know, and just like really more than anything, like sheer determination to like not back down from what you want. And so for me, this is always an industry that's captured like my heart and my mind. I've been a gamer forever. I've been a Star Wars fan forever. And when somebody presented me with the opportunity to come aboard at CG and work on the game, at that point, I'd already been playing it for a few months. And I just jumped on it because I'm like, oh, this is something that I want and I have wanted. And so, yeah, it was tough. I wasn't a shoo-in by any means at you know, at first for the game balance position. And so it was a pretty rigorous interview. I went through it, I got lucky. And then once I got in, I just tried to make the most of that opportunity and almost immediately started saying like, I should be in community. And so, you know,
with that accent.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, that's the key, is like you just show up for the job interview with a weird accent, and then from that day forward, if you get the job, then it's like anything crazy goes, right? But no, I started politicking heavily. I'm like, hey, like what we're doing is cool, but I want to do that instead. And so after a long enough road and a little help from Crumb saying, I need some help.
When I interviewed with Harmonix, I showed up in the Dumb and Dumber powder blue tuxedo. I'm just saying, yeah, so
Did you get that job?
Look at what am I doing right now? Of course I didn't get that job.
Oh, fair enough, but that's their loss, man.
So, what is your time? So how long have you been in this current position? It's been a year now.
It's been a year and 3 days.
And they finally let you off the leash. Yeah. Well, with Crumb.
Yeah, allowed outside of the cage, but still have to have a hand.
In that, what has been, and I hope you can answer this, what has been your favorite time, and what has been your least favorite time?
Fair enough. Let's see. Favorite time. I think just coming in right out of the gate, doing coordinating with the devs, doing the breakdown of the scribe video was something that the community really liked. So that was fun. And, trying to get the speed GAC tournament off the ground has been challenging, but fun. I think my favorite times are just when I'm working on something big that I feel like the community will want, or at least somewhat appreciate, and then shepherding that through and then finally getting the win. That feels good. And so, honestly, I think one of my favorite things that I'm most proud of is way back when we made the in-game title for a player whose name is the General, who had leveled up her, entire roster of female characters to all be gold reed. Who does that, right? You only do that if you're passionate about it or it's something that you believe in. And once I caught wind of that, I was like, you know what, we gotta do something special. And so taking that initiative to get her own unique in-game title and weaving through the approvals and everything else that it takes, that felt good. So honestly, that's one of my favorite times. And then making the video road ahead with Crumb was also a lot of fun. We just got in there and we're spitballing.
That was an amazing way, and I look forward. There is a road ahead in October scheduled, subject to change, right? I hope you still do that. I hope you do that again.
Yeah.
But
well, I think maybe we will. No, we had a lot of fun doing it, and the awesome thing was how the community said, hey, we like that you guys did this. Didn't necessarily like everything that was said in it, but it was kind of them to separate the message from the messenger. And then as far as
the teleprompter above the camera next time.
Hey, we're our own harshest critics. Everything that was said about it, on social media or wherever else, I'm you can't. It's like that scene in Scarface where it's there's nothing you can do to me that Castro's not already done, right? So I was like, look, no matter what you say, at the end of the day, I've already said it myself. I immediately was like, oh, we could do this better next time, this and that. So it's a growing experience, and we'll get better as it goes along. But yeah, so those are some of my favorite moments, and my least favorite is, sometimes the job gets tough, but I also realize that when the job is easy, it's fun, and when it's tough, it's well, that's when we really have to do work, and so you can't just take one without the other. But yeah, I mean, it's not always easy. You see yourself on memes because they're like, oh. They suck or whatever, and it's man, you have no idea how hard we're working and advocating on your behalf. And not that I want to leave, because actually I love doing this. I love working with Crumb and all that. But if it ever just came down to it, it's all right, well, if you think I suck, then you're definitely gonna miss me when I'm gone. So that's what I tell myself.
So you briefly touched on it then, the Speed GAC. Tell us a little bit more about the Speed GAC, because that project's moving along nicely now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're getting there. But yeah, we have a roster set. We need to do some practice runs and do the final product. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's something that I noticed the community had been, inquiring about, asking about. And so I'm like, hey, this is something that we can make happen from just a comms team level. We don't need to go, pull a lot of resources from other places. I mean, we did have to pull some, so credit to our team for helping us out. But this was mainly, something that the community team could put together and do and make happen for the community that we thought, hey, if they're asking for it or indicating some interest in it, let's try to make this happen. It sounds like fun, right? Let's be more forward facing. Let's reach out there. Let's work with some of the content creators and some of the known members out in the community and do a little face off. Why wouldn't that be fun?
So we do have, and we've received approval. You can just give me a thumbs up, Crumb. We received approval that we can announce all of, even though they've announced it as well. individually, we can announce the full roster, right, Crumb? Okay, cool. We're getting the thumbs up there. So
we got
two thumbs up. So the final roster for this Speed GAC is Ranger with Thane, Cubs,
RSG crew,
Cubs with Grid, Operation Metaverse, T-Money with Gamma's backup, Kate Gaming with Llama,
half the Bounty Honeys,
representing the Bounty Honeys, Gambit crew, Zareth is the lead with Solo, and then CG is represented by Crumb himself, Crazy Excuses, and Niv. Not Nev, Niv.
Yeah, that's not going to be confusing at all.
But speaking of the broadcast, it was also Crumb gave us a message a few days ago, and apparently you're going to be part of this as well, Doja?
That's correct. Yeah, we're going to do the commentary team.
We're going to be the commentary team.
We're happy to finally make the acknowledgement, confirmation, and announcement. We will be joining Doja Fett at the commentary table. You know, we're gonna see if Gom gets put through one of them, but we're excited to join Doja Fett on the commentary team for Speed GAC when it happens. Check your local listings.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
looking
fast.
forward
Are
to
you
it.
ready for that? Are you ready? Because we're going to be flying between battles. You know, 1 minute we'll be in the Gambit, and the next minute we'll be in Operation. It's going to be all over the place. Can be everywhere.
All eyes. Yeah,
get your play-by-play practice in there, because you're definitely gonna need it. We got to give people their money's worth, because some people do their GACs quietly. So, you know, they need us there to explain why people are doing what they're doing. You know, it's like football or cricket.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we needed somebody with the UK to lend credibility.
It does not hurt to have an English accent on a commentary team. You know, people say, "Oh, you just sound more intelligent." It's like, really? How does an intelligent person sound? And it's like, I always thought you just picked us for bad guys because, you know, we sound so evil. So, yeah, no.
Well, I mean, you can be both, you know.
Yeah, true. You can be intelligent and evil. I mean, it does take a certain degree of intelligence to be evil. So, yes. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
You know, it doesn't work the other way, though, also. Like, because in America, we're very cognizant of, like, oh, you have an English accent. That's interesting. You could come here for a visit, go out into public, bar or whatever, and speak in that accent, and people would be like interested to get to know you or talk to you or find that attractive. And I thought, like, oh, cool. A few years ago when I went to go visit Europe and was, kicking around Scotland and England and stuff like that, I was like, oh, like maybe they'll find me interesting because I have an American accent, and it just does not go the other way. It doesn't
go the other way at all. It's the Canadians that I feel sorry for, because people, it's a bit like over here. It's like, oh, are you Australian? It's like, no, I'm English. Go to the UK. Canadian goes to the UK, and it's like, oh, are you an American? It's like, no, I'm a Canadian. How about that? So yes. So yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So do we have time for a hardball question?
Yep. So
good, excellent. Okay.
So
because we've done some fun and fluffy stuff. So I just wanted to know if we had time.
Neil had the hardball question. And I've got the other hardball question, but you have already answered this, Doja. But I kind of want to, if I can, get a little bit more of a thought perspective on it coming from you. And I acknowledge, and anybody listening needs to acknowledge, that this is his opinion and not the CG line. Okay? Now, you had talked about the you made a statement before that, and CG has made a statement before, that they don't want to force people's hands in territory wars. But with the new divisions and the inclusion of Relic 9 material in upper echelons, that means in some of the not uber spending guilds, but the casual competitive guilds, they have to have everybody join. How does that play into the agency of the player rather than the allowing people to make their choices, when otherwise it's going to tear guilds apart because, oh, they didn't let this, or this guy didn't join, so I'm out of this guild because we aren't able to get to 320.
Sure. So, well, okay. Can we have you rephrase the question for brevity, just so I make sure that I'm answering the correct question, right? So at the end of the day, what is your question? It's like, why is the territory war matchmaking the way that it is?
Where was the change in allowing TW to be more agency based to allow for progression?
Okay, so what I would say to that is, I understand that there's been some player sentiment on territory wars and matchmaking and some concern about, guilds, right? But I would also point out that we're very early on in this overhaul. And so matchmaking, I don't think at this point has been, settled. We have to give it some time to kind of work itself out. And on top of that, usually when there's any kind of big changes like this in game, there tends to be a little bit of shakeup, right? Like people get nervous, some guild members leave, some join. So we also have to kind of see where that's going to land. I have to have faith in my devs that they're doing what they feel is right and they're doing it in a way that's going to make sense. And I also have to have faith in them that when they see how things play out, if it's not what they intended, then we'll fix it, right? Like we're a live game. So we can fix things if it needs to be. And I'm not saying that it does. What I am saying is that you're not forced to join territory war. Like it's scaling, right? So if you have people that don't join, then you're not going to have to set as many defenses and that sort of thing. So I know it's big and new and scary, but I have to trust that the process is going to work. And if it doesn't, then we'll figure it out.
I like that answer, that the devs will listen. And you have you, where's the Neil, you're up after this, after his answer here. You say that the devs listen. We've seen that in other modes. But where is have you seen a threshold of what they will listen to compared to the overall population?
Like how they'll listen compared to how the overall population
I mean,
listens?
are they also listening to? Are they also listening to everybody else, or is it funneled through you?
I can't speak to if my coworkers are using their off time to go look on form. I can say that Crumb and I work very hard to make sure that we're involved in a lot of discussions. I can say that we work very hard to keep an eye on sentiment and what's going on a multitude of channels. We have tools that help us do that. We have people that help us do that. And we're just very interested in doing that for the player base at the end of the day. We also have to wear two hats, right? Like one hat is player hat. I want to make things happen for the players that are awesome as much as possible for a few reasons. One, because I play the game, right? And two, it makes my life easier when the players are happy.
Perfect.
Right? So that's my motivation on that side. I also have to wear another hat. I work for the studio. I work for the devs. At the end of the day, it's a balancing act. We try to push for, things that we can. And sometimes it's the right thing to do. And then sometimes, it's not, because we don't have the, same understanding or expertise that others do. So again, that's where I have to trust my devs. Nobody wants this game to die. We all want to make the best game possible. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what we're trying to do. I know it's not always transparent, and player frustration is going to happen, but that's where Crumb and I come in to try to do the best.
Breaking news: Crumb is human and he's a good guy. Excellent. Or Doja is human and a good guy. Neil, over to you, bud.
Okay, mine's much more simple and probably a lot more straightforward. Back at the beginning of the year, when you introduced challenges to the game, galactic challenges, obviously there was the hype, there was the build up, and then boom, you released it. Problem when it was released with a plethora of issues, and the community basically all came out with one voice and said, you've got issues here, here, and here. Now, back then, when that happened, you were very, very quick to respond to the constructive criticism, not the "oh my god, it's crap." And that's completely and utterly the constructive criticism. That this doesn't work, that doesn't work, and this doesn't work. What are you going to do about it? You responded like almost within 24 hours, and he said, "Yep, okay, we hear you, we're listening to you, we're taking it on board." And then within a matter of a week or two, you came back and said, "Right, okay, we're going to address this concern, and this concern, and we'll do it in an up-and-coming challenge." And back then, that was like, everyone was like, give credit where credit is due. You listened to the community, you took on board the criticisms, you took on board the issues, you addressed them, you acknowledged them, and then you dealt with them, and then you implemented the changes. So why is it taking longer to do that with similar issues with territory wars, whereas it was much, much faster, and your response time and your changes were very, very quick when it came to challenges? Whereas with territory wars, we're seeing a lot of, the community is talking about very similar issues over and over and over, whether it's forums or Reddit or YouTube videos, we're all talking about the same issues. Why is it taking so long with the changes to territory rules to address and then potentially implement some changes to address those concerns?
Let's say that's kind of an apples and oranges comparison, right? I mean, we're talking about two different game modes. We're also talking about...
yeah. I totally understand we're talking about two different game modes.
Sure. I mean, look, territory wars involves not just one player challenging their roster against a certain game mode. It's a bunch of players going at each other, right? What I can say is that a lot of thought was put into overhauling the system, what's going to go into it, the matchmaking concerns before, with the old matchmaking system had to be addressed, right? And so they looked at all of that. And again, I'm just going to come back to the fact that I'm going to trust my devs that they're doing the right thing. Like I know what their intention was when they designed this. It was to guard against cheating that had been happening.
Okay.
It's to ensure more fair matchmaking. It's to address all of the concerns that you had before with matchmaking, and to do that to the best ability in a way that makes sense under the new system. So, I mean, it's easy to look at a galactic challenge that comes out and has some issues, and I'd say fix that a little more quickly on the fly than it is the territory wars, because again, it's a complex system that we literally put into place and then set at 0, and then going forward is supposed to
that's what I was thinking, is that we need some more reps in territory war matchmaking before it will balance out better. I guess the only other one, I am pretty sure the devs thought of this, is it tied, I guess, can we be assured that it's tied to the population and not the guild name, so there's not teams out there that are moving these big alliances that are moving players to their best players to the guild that has the lowest amount of or the longest losing streak, because that was revealed that losing streak can be accounted in there.
So part of the matchmaking process that we talked about was win and loss streaks, and we now sat on the forums. We talked about it a little bit on Discord. I think Crumb's touched on it in some interviews. So again, we can't like come out and say, hey, here's the recipe for matchmaking, because if you do that, there's always a risk of some level of exploitation, right? You want to kind of keep the system a bit of a mystery to guard against that. And that's not to say that you don't have faith in your matchmaking system. That's to say that anytime people have more information on how something works, there's more potential for exploitation, right? And so, again, along with cheating and win and loss streaks, sandbagging we knew was a concern. Like, it's something that can happen in certain game modes. So, again, they're trying to do their best to guard against that as well. I don't know that any system is perfect. I just know that there's people that are way smarter than I am that took those concerns that we've had and then put it in a crock pot and tried to bake up something beautiful. And I hope it turns out.
And Bones, who is a content creator for both Galaxy of Heroes and Dragon Champions, says matchmaking is so much better in SWGOH than Dragon Champions. So good job there. Definitely.
I mean,
One real quick thing I'll pop in and say is that the matchmaking is definitely a starting point for changes. We definitely have more planned in the future around matchmaking with Territory Wars specifically. Like, this is a jumping off point, and we definitely want to gather as much data as possible before we make a lot of our next steps. But, I think we said in the post as well, this is the start of it. This is not the final product here as well. We want to make this better and better.
Excellent.
Yeah, because one of the suggestions that I've seen floating around everywhere, because of the increase in the squads per territory, is very much like you did when you introduced GOTB. Instead of having a 24-hour period, it's a 36-hour period. So a lot of people have been saying to me, well, how about increasing the offense from 24 hours to 36 hours as a suggestion, so that, because you're upping the amount of squads per territory, so it takes more time, and you've got that international flavor that you get with a lot of guilds, and just giving like everybody that little bit of extra time to be able to get in there with their offense type things. I've seen that as a suggestion. So it's just a case of, like you said, so because of the nature of it being a different game mode, it's just going to take longer for you to address concerns that have been raised and discuss with the developer team as to whether or not it's an issue now, or it may not be an issue by giving it more time. It may not be an issue further down the line.
Right. Like, so, yeah, first of all, yeah, you're right. And so I want to acknowledge that, but I also want to add to it. Okay. So I think that if you look at our track record of the game as it goes along, we've never, I don't think that there's been a time where we've just kind of left something super clunky, and players can disagree, and that's fine. But like, I think we do a pretty good job of keeping an eye on things, and sometimes it takes a while, but it's like normally either the players or the devs or a combination thereof figure things out. So having said that, I've seen the sentiment. I've seen concerns about international guilds and join times and setup times and attack times and all that. Like, I'm aware of all of that sentiment, and it's something that Crumb and I've been discussing a lot. And so, I've heard, hey, make it 36 hours. I've heard, hey, we got so much to do in game, right now that feels like, it's such a time sink that maybe, you go to 48 hours and only have one event instead of two. And so, I'm not saying any of these ideas are like bad or one's better than the other. I'm just saying they all have like other considerations that we have to take into account. So say we did, say I proposed the 48-hour thing, right? And say the devs like that. And this is all hypothetical.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
None of this should be taken out of context, but probably will be in the wrong way. And if you do, you're a jerk.
It 100% will be. Yeah.
Exactly.
Your words, not mine, but I also super agree. And so, look, like say, that's a consideration that's out there that some people like, but then some people might not like it because, with the way that things are going, instead of having, two bites at the apple, now you only have one bite. But if we double the rewards, cool. But then if you lose, then you're going to be mad that time. But if you win, then you're going to be happy. And right now, everybody is like kind of a little bit concerned and wondering how the matchmaking is working and all of that. And it's like, look, I think over a long enough period of time, everything would shake out. And so maybe that is a good idea. Maybe you do the 48-hour thing with double the rewards. But the point is look, we're aware. And we're gonna see how things shake out. Like Crumb said, we need to look at the data. We need to see is the system working as intended and go from there. But make no mistake that we are we're aware, we're being diligent, and we're doing our part to we've heard all sorts of different scenarios and proposals, and we'll hear those and we'll look at those and we'll pass along.
Give them time. Not everything can be made in a snap decision or programmed into a snap decision. By the way, I do have to really quick acknowledge Dr. Jojo says, do any of the hats have feathers in them? I bet Crumb's hats have feathers. So there we go. I had to make sure that I had made sure I read it. Dr. Jojo's one of the founding subscribers of this channel. So, all right. So, what do you guys have coming up? There's some Extra Life in the future.
Yeah, I know this is supposed to be my interview, but Extra Life is it's something that's fun and it's awesome, and I've been super fortunate to be part of it the past few years. But I think it's a little more Crumb's baby than mine, so I don't know if you want to field that one. I think you should feel free to, but if you don't want to, that's fine.
I can answer that one. We're getting excited for our October 16th Extra Life charity event that we do every year. Once again, we're supporting UC Davis Children's Hospital, and it's going to be a fun blast from around 10 a.m. Pacific time. I think we're going till like 8. So it's like 12 hours. We're going to be playing games with the studio, having fun, trying to raise a whole bunch of money. And we've done amazing so far this year already. Thanks to the Galaxy Heroes community, especially for the amount of money we've donated so far. We're already at over $9,000 for the event. And last year as a studio, we raised $8,000 and we haven't even started yet. So this year is already set off to be amazing for the amount of charity we've made so far. So thanks everyone who's donated. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's been really, really fun so far. But yeah, come out, have some fun. We're gonna be playing all sorts of games, doing all sorts of weird stuff. So doing some fun interviews, some trivia. It's gonna be a great time. So I hope you guys can make it out. You probably saw that like interstitial in the game today that showed up that said, hey, it's happening. We're gonna have a forum post on Monday next week that says the time and gives a reminder. But hopefully you guys can make it out. It's gonna be a great time.
Drop the link in the chat so that we can put it in the so that everybody can see it in the chat, Crumb.
Yeah, wonderful. I just want to add to that too. It's cool to see a number, like, oh, we raised X amount of dollars. But what I've found even more special is the fact that we get feedback from it's because UC Davis is part of the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. And so we've gotten feedback from them showing where that money actually goes. Like we see pictures of the beds that are being bought for family members that want to, stay the night next to their kid, or the PlayStations that were bought and installed so that kids would have something to play, some entertainment while they're in there. And so just seeing that, like where the money actually goes, was super cool. Like knowing that, wow, we've helped out a family, or made a kid smile because they can kick back and play some games when they're going through what they're going through.
Yeah, it's as the father of a child that was born 3 months premature, Children's Miracle Network and the Ronald McDonald House both helped make sure that I was able to be there when he was born. So as the recipient of somebody who is benefited from those programs, this is one of those worthy causes that you cannot pass by.
Good cause is a good cause. So yeah,
thank you for that endorsement, Paul.
Do get follow the link, click on the link, get donating. Look, if we get to we must get to 8,000. Crumb will do his GAC live on Twitch.
that is true.
Total hit, Crumb will do his GAC live on Twitch when that total hits 8K. So the sooner we get to that 8K, the sooner we can, the sooner we can start, building up this live stream that's probably going to get a lot of people watching it. And then I have no doubt that when he does that stream, a couple hundred people on that stream, Crumb's going to be dropping the link in that stream for his live GAC. We're going to be able to raise a bunch of more money for the charity then as well. So the faster we get to 8,000, the faster we get Crumb doing that live stream for his GAC, and then in turn the snowball effect will be hundreds of people watching that stream and even more money raised for the charity. So get your ass over to that link, get donating, get it up to 8K so we can get Crumb on live for his GAC before the end of 5v5.
Really? Yep, I did say I would do that. So thank you, Nev, for the reminder. And I've been giving away a whole bunch of swag too as well on the channel to help people get excited for donating. We got water bottles, we have chargers and that kind of stuff. So stop by the stream if you want, and we'll hopefully give away some cool stuff.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And in addition to that, we do have the Speed GAC that was promised. Once again, we're excited to be a part of the commentary team with Doja this coming. Check your local listings. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Doja, thank you so much for your time, for spending some time with us here. Is there anything else that you want to mention before I ask you the biggest question that I will ask you tonight?
It's been quite a year. We've had some ups and downs. We've had some wins. We've had some other situations, but overall, I feel really fortunate to be here. And it's been a ride and it's been great. I like what I do. I like who I work with. And more than anything, it's being part of the community that responded the way it did with the whole Manny situation. To see what this community is capable of has been really cool. So it's not always peaches and rainbows, man. But I think that together we do a lot of cool stuff, and that's all we're trying to do here is make things as good as we can. So that's what's up.
All right. Neil, any final questions for Doja?
No, let's get off and let these people get
all right. So I've tried so many times to ask Crumb this question, and I guess I'm tired of asking it wrong.
Oh, God. I already know what it's going to be.
I always ask, where is Hondo? And I'm tired of getting the same answer. Instead, I'm going to ask, when is Hondo?
Not soon enough. Not soon enough, man. Crumb wants it. I want it. A lot of the people want it. I don't know what to say, man. I want
every
it.
Time.
Every single time.
Ask.
No patience.
I
no
don't
patience.
have any patience when it comes to a character.
Man, my patience is out. I'm done waiting.
He's the only character that is represented at Disney World and Disneyland at Galaxy's Edge in a actual form that is not in this darn game. In fact, I'm almost to the point where I'm about to pull an Arnold and say if he's not in the game by the end of the year, I quit. So.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well for Arnold. He had to delete his alternate account.
I know. I remember that. That's the only reason. Do I really want to call their bluff? Do I want to stare down? I mean, look at Crumb. He's Freddie Mercury. I'm not going to stare him down in the eyes.
I would say it's probably not the best bet to make right now, given that our schedules, for the rest of the year is probably pretty locked in already. So, but hey, you do what you want to do. Don't let me tell you how to live your life.
All right.
Wait, so just for reference, how does Crumb normally answer
He's
that
the same
question?
thing that you want to see him in the game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. Hondo's one of my favorite characters. Of course I want to see him in the game.
Yeah. We've actually we've had meetings go like astray when like everybody else leaves the Zoom call and it's just Crumb and I left, and we're like, dude, Honda, you know, and then we'll just go on for like 20 minutes about how it's like, dude, Hondo, right? Am I right?
What about Hondo?
Yeah, but what about Hondo though?
I just you know, I just hope and pray and it puzzles me why there's no Hondo. All right.
Yeah, that's worse than one of my dad jokes. But, you know.
All right. Well, Doja, Crumb, thank you very much for showing up. Doja, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you. We cannot wait to be alongside you coming up with Speed GAC.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Should be a fun one. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll coming up in this break, the latest episode of Helly and the Noob, and then Patreon's choice. Once again, we may have to delay it. This has been an epic show. We'll see you guys after these messages right here on the Escape Podcast. HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or territory wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod. Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
The following episode of Helly and the Noob has a character based on a real person. Permission was granted to use the name and virtual likeness.
And now time for something completely shameless.
When we last saw our antagonists, they ran into enemies on Corellia. They were facing down two of TC-14's greatest creations. A heated battle ensued. Serves them right. Nobody likes Hellenics. Both Hellenics and the Noob performed maneuvers most of us would just laugh at. Thank God for them, the victorious Viking found them on their way to their ship and joined them in this fight. Let's pick back up with this latest episode of Helly and the Noob to see if these fugitives from the law get their comeuppance.
Newbie, special move, and make it count.
Here goes nothing.
Oh, come on! Those blasters are the most overpowered weapons available to us. They've destroyed Beskar-reinforced quintuple-layered Durasteel with mithril mesh in the past. And now against these two rock clowns, not even a scratch? All right, whatever. Time for my special move.
Oh, jeez. You gotta be kidding me.
What in the space hell? Even that does no damage?
They're rock creatures, Hellenics. Lightning attacks have no effect on them. Haven't you ever played any Pokemon games?
This is getting stupid. Shaman, my man, do something.
I guess I'll do my special move? You shall not pass!
Oh, for crying out loud, a taunt? What good will that do us?
What's the problem this time, Lennox?
We need to eliminate these rock guys, not divert their attacks. Their attacks don't even cause any serious damage. This battle's gonna go past 5 minutes, and I never let it last for more than 5 minutes. Seriously, Drum Monkey?
Lennox, I just finished reading these guys' kits.
You are not.
Going to like this.
Hurry up, newbie. The timer's counting down. Spill the beans already. Give me the short version of whatever it is you found.
Well, the short version is these are the newest galactic legends released by the SSP devs. Basically, without an ultimate ability, you can't damage them.
Let's stun them this time. Yeah.
Oh, great. Now we're stunned. This sucks.
Well, maybe if we didn't stop for space,
Rose.
we wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place.
Meatbag.
You know what, noob? Why don't you just shut up? If you got nothing helpful to offer, why keep talking? All you ever do is complain.
Guys?
Me? Complain? Oh, that's rich. Especially coming from you, who calls himself the salty Spartan.
Oh, no. I've earned the right to complain, noob. I've been at this for almost 6 years. You just picked up this game and have no idea how much I've sacrificed for this garbage content.
Guys.
Oh yeah? Well, fine. I'm gonna go buy a hyperdrive bundle pack and...
What good will a hyperdrive pack do? You can't equip it mid-battle. Plus, it's gonna violate your free-to-play pledge. And I am not in the mood to listen to Neil rag on us for dumping money into the SSP coffers.
Guys!
What?
I still have my summoning move, and I know exactly who to summon. Here goes. By the power of SWGOH, I summon the bravest!
Aw, isn't he cute? Yeah, he's adorable. What's it gonna do? Yeah, tickle us to death.
Yes! He did it!
Whoa.
Okay, Mr. Viking Man, who is that character? He seems very, very cool. I want a formal introduction. I bet we could be great friends. He seems exactly like the type of character we need to join us for our mission to confront TC-14.
Noob, don't you know who this is?
Pipe down, both of you. You are in the presence of greatness. Show some class, please. Yes, kind soul, we are humbled. We thank you. Without you, we would not have ended our non-stop bickering and overcome these adversaries. Your strength and poise are an eternal lesson to us all. Your example is one we should all always strive toward achieving. We are humbled by your appearance and appreciate your brief intervention. May the Force be with you. Always.
I can barely believe it.
Okay, will somebody explain to me exactly what
just happened?
You see, young adventurer, that was the bravest entity this galaxy has ever known. That was Minnie Snowwalker, a being of legend who once walked among us in this realm, and now travels the nether realm of the Force. As the Wills once wrote in their journals, Minnie Snowwalker was a being whom, despite his small stature and young age, could face impossible odds, without fear, odds that would make even the strongest among us crumble in sheer terror. Unfortunately, a dark entity of despair, born of the fourth sign, confronted Minnie, and an epic battle ensued. Sadly for us, the little one departed our realm, after losing his fight against that vile foe. However, although defeated in that battle, he did not truly lose. For the legend says, if we merely remember him, he will never truly be lost, and he will always walk among us. For his ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. His name is Minnie Snowwalker, and it shall never be forgotten. For he was the bravest among us, and his example will forever be one we should each be inspired by. While gone from this realm, Minnie Snowwalker is eternal.
Whoa. I'm honored.
As you should be, young one. Now, let's all head toward your ship and make our way to Coruscant.
This episode dedicated to Minnie Snowwalker, 2006 to 2021. May the Force be with you.
That was quite touching. Minnie Snowwalker was indeed a hero. I almost don't want to make fun of the lethargic Laconian at this point. Almost. Oh, who am I kidding? Will the noob violate his sacred free-to-play pledge, and will his doing so cause an outrage? Will cartoon Hellenic's pit stop at a coffee shop for a Freddo espresso while en route to Coruscant? We all know the Greek is addicted to caffeine. Will the victorious Viking crack both these guys' skulls with his mud hammer? I'm hoping. Yes, I'm even willing to pay good money to see this. Would you like to see the same? If you answered yes to this question, then all you have to do is make sure to stay tuned to the Escape Pod cast every Friday, so you never miss a single episode of Ellie and the Noob.
The Escape Pod. Cast. The Bridge.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. That was a really, really nice, long incoming transmission, but we're back for the rest of the show.
Well, the rest of the show that is there, we're already over time. I hate doing this, but Zaz and Geek Girl have some awesome questions. We are going to get to them next week. There should not be a long interview. We should be back on time. But Patreon's choice, we will be getting to those questions. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Neil, what do you have coming up on Escape Podcast?
Well, I have a very big GAC match coming up. Very big GAC match coming up. It is me versus AOC Star Wars. AOC Star Wars is a top competitor. They are top 50, 960k. Literally 960k lifetime banners. They put their defense down. It's going to be interesting. They're responsible for one of my only losses this year. So yeah, it's going to be a big one. That probably going to be tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to need to do some warm up exercises and practice some of my cat. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just It's kind of a big one for me because obviously I'm on another unbeaten run. I've gone 60 matches and I've gone 55 matches and I've only lost one in 55. So it's kind of a big one, an important one. So
do be sure if you're listening to this as it goes live on the regular podcast channels, do make sure you check it out. If you are watching this live, do make sure that you check out the show later on tomorrow. So over on Vault 37, Mrs. Anthony and I are about to finish Game 8, Lego Harry Potter Years 5 through 7. We'll be doing the 4th installment of that Saturday, and then on Sunday we will definitely finish it if it's not already finished, and then be moving on to Lego Batman 2. So that should be a lot of fun doing that over on Vault 37 Studios on Twitch. And then we're also instituting to where Mrs. Anthony and I must, if you have 10,000 channel points on Vault 37, we have to disarm a bomb live where only one of us can see the bomb and the other one of us has the instruction book on keep talking and nobody explodes. That's the name of the game, Neil. Keep talking and nobody explodes. So that should be a lot of fun. Other than that, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again to the Myth, the Legend GS. Thank you again to Crumb. Thank you again to Doja Fett for stopping by and talking to us. And Thank you to all of our mods, Helenix, Cascade, the Llama, Mrs. Anthony. All of you guys take care of the channel very, very professionally and wonderfully, and we appreciate everyone. Neil, anything else that you want to say before we head out?
No, we're all good, man.
We are going to be rating the myth, the legend, as we talked about in the second segment. We're going to be rating him after the credits roll. But that being said, be nice to each other, damn it. Neil, you got anything for me?
Yeah.
Don't mind if I do.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Boo Boo, sit. Good dog.